So every bottleneck that we ever experience is due to a belief system that we have to break. Can you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
We all rise, we all ascend to the level of our own incompetence, right? So in other words, what that means is that sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Belief systems are pernicious. They come from culture, they come from family, they come from society, they come from our own personal experience. Another way to look at a belief system is like, don't let a bad mistake burn you twice. So what's an example of a bad mistake burning you twice? Well, this happens to be a health and fitness company. So maybe you have a bad experience with a health and fitness company 10 years ago. And for the last 10 years, you've refused to get help because of one bad experience with one coaching program or diet or something. And so then in your mind, you've created a belief system that they're all bad. And so what happened then is you've limited yourself to getting help, and then the problem got worse. And so you've let a bad decision burn you twice in that regard. Does that all make sense? And so you would consider that like a bottleneck. You would consider that a belief system that until we can break through and free that up is going to keep you stuck, right? That's the level of your own incompetence. And so why don't we just jump into with that one then, since we're already on this topic, and then we'll finish the call with the sample meal plan, okay? Where is it? Nope, that's not what I want to see. I'll do a screen share. Cool. So this will be a quick little some. Where is it? There it is. Not the food list. Food list is cool too, but that's not what I meant. All right. Okay, cool. Can you guys see this? It's a little blurry. So this is what they call the hierarchy of competence. And so the idea here is like, okay, if you are on the base level with it, which is unconscious incompetence, okay, you don't even know what you don't know. You can't, like at this level, you can't trust your gut. Your intuition is wrong, right? The paradigm in which you make decisions is flawed, okay? So people who think that maybe just because they're vegan, they're automatically healthy, that would be like wrong intuition. Oh, I'm healthy, I'm vegan. And I got nothing against vegans. I don't care if you are or if you aren't, but you can still eat a whole lot of cake and drink a whole lot of soda and be vegan. You know what I mean? And so unconscious incompetence is very difficult. You know, that would be like someone who's 300 pounds and you say like, well, what's your goal? And they're like, oh, I need to lose like 5 pounds and tone up a little bit. It's like, you know, it's difficult to, that's a difficult scenario. What needs to happen is kind of like a metaphorical come to Jesus moment for someone like that, where they finally realize the error of their ways, right? They finally realize how bad it actually is. And so that's like that would be the baseline of this pyramid of unconscious incompetence, right? And then where most folks find me is the conscious incompetence level. Okay. So that at this point now, you've had your moment, you've had your breakthrough where you finally realize the error of your ways, but you just don't have the right analysis. So you have better intuition, but you don't have the right analysis. And that's where people would come to like a program like mine. They would come to Carbon Fitness Method because they need what we've done and to condense it into something that they can follow and get clarity and create awareness. If we were to really boil down everything that we do in this program and everything that Carbon Fitness is about, the one word would be awareness. It's creating awareness between your food choices. It's creating awareness of the cause and effect of lifestyle choices. It's creating awareness via exposure therapy, right? And you see the scale when you eat a high sodium food and you see the scale spike up 14 times, you're probably going to learn a few things about what foods your body works well with or not, right? So conscious incompetence is where now you know you're consciously incompetent. Before you didn't know. You didn't know what you didn't know. Ignorance is bliss. And now you know. And that can be a scary place when you know how bad it is now, but you don't know what to do about it, right? And that's where you need to get help. That's where you would need to find a mentor. You need to find a coach. You need to find someone who can give you the analysis to ascend to the next level, which is conscious competence. And our goal here is to, at the very least, to bring you from conscious incompetence to conscious competence. How do we learn? We can't learn this stuff by thinking about it. We have to learn through doing, right? Knowing is not enough. You have to do. So conceptual understanding of nutrition, I would say probably 9 out of 10 people have that, right? We all conceptually understand how to lose weight. We all conceptually understand how to make healthy choices, but it's the practice. It's the practice that roots it and cements us. And so our job here is to ascend you from a conscious incompetence to a conscious competence, where now you have the right analysis, you have the right data. We've looked at weigh-ins, we've looked at meal logs, we have looked at progress photos. We have the right data to confirm that we are fundamentally on the right track. However, conscious competence requires consciousness. I mean, it's not you know what I mean? It's like you have to pay attention. It's not automatic yet. Like if you I'm learning Spanish right now. I've been learning Spanish for 3 years. I'm decent. I'm intermediate. I can get around. People who speak Spanish are surprised that I can carry a conversation with them. But it is not fluent yet, which would be the next level of unconscious competence. I'm speaking English right now. I have no idea what I'm about to say right now until I'm saying it, truth be told, because we're all in this meeting right now, unconsciously competent and with our ability to speak English. You know what I mean? So if we were to shift that, if we were to use that as an analogy for nutrition, weight loss, health in general, we have to put in the reps figuratively and literally by hopping on that scale every morning, good, bad, or ugly, showing your coach what you ate every day, good, bad, or ugly, putting in the reps, hitting that button over and over and over again until this becomes second nature, until this is a language that you're fluent in. You guys with me on that? Right? Who here feels like they're ascending to a level of fluency with what we're doing here, understanding nutrition, calories, the cause and effect on the scales? Anybody feel like they're getting closer to that level? Yeah, Hillary? Well, Hillary's about to graduate her 12 weeks. So that's the whole plan here, baby. Yeah. So that's the level, that's the hierarchy of competence. We're obviously using this in the context of what we do here, but think of any area of your life, right? We're all unconsciously competent. We're all blues in some area and we're all pinks in other areas, right? And so you can use this as a model to work through any area that we want to improve on: relationships, finances, health and fitness. What I will say is that the analogy between fitness and finance is almost unbelievable. I want to write a book about it. Just like it's so analogous. There's if we would consider, you look at overspending, not budgeting, and debt, almost the same thing as like overeating, not tracking, and body fat, right? And that would be just like one parallel, but there's dozens. And we can use this model here and also the work that you guys have put into your program here for, I think, a lot of other things. I think that it translates well to other areas in our life. Has anyone ever seen this hierarchy before? Is this new to anybody?
It's new to me.
Yeah. Does anybody think it's kind of cool or boring?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Okay, cool. It's kind of, yeah. I'm kind of boring, so kind of cool.
No, you're not.
Probably really boring for other people. Okay, cool. So that's the hierarchy of competence. Let's talk now about food. All right, so I'm just going to pull up a meal log here, our good old fashioned blank meal log. Now, since nobody has a particular dinner, or lunch, or day, or whatever they need help on, let's just do a hypothetical. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna have my proteins at 180 grams a day. This is me. This is actually my, oh, not 3,000. That'd be fun. 300, and then my fat's around 60. Yeah, that puts me about. So right now I'm like leaning out and like losing some weight. So I'm cut my calories down to 2,400 ish. Beginning of the year, I was around 3,500. That might sound fun to you guys, but trust me, it gets real old really quick. Like I feel much better just physically around this number, but the way my body's shaped, like I look like a twig if I go low calorie too long. So if I want to look buff, I gotta really eat, which sucks. So, but anyway, so I go through cycles, just like if you guys continue this journey, you're going to go through cycles as well, where you're going to want to go through a fat loss cycle and then eventually rebuild and then eventually go another fat loss cycle. As an aside, you never want to go in one direction forever, right? Because your body will desensitize. So if you're always in a perpetual fat loss cycle, it's like your metabolism is a lagging indicator of your calories. So as calories go down, metabolism is going to follow eventually. So after 12 to 16 weeks of fat loss cycle, we got to start to rebuild a little bit for a month or so. Calories go up. The lagging indicator is metabolism to follow it. And then we want to take another dip, right? And so we undulate throughout the year in that fashion. Once you get as lean as you want to be, you shift the focus. Then you go 12-week rebuild, and then like a 4 to 6 week mini cut fat loss, and then a 12-week rebuild. So right now, because we're all trying to lose fat, we want to do 12-week fat loss, 4 to 6 week rebuild, 12-week fat loss. You get as lean as you feel comfortable being, you flip it and you go 12-week rebuild, 4 to 6 week mini fat loss, 12-week rebuild. Does that make sense, guys? One step above that is you then want to dovetail your programming with your rebuild and cut cycles. So if you are trying to cut, you don't want to be in the gym trying to max out on heavy weights, right? Your body's in a deficit. There's not enough energy balance to support that training. But if you are in a rebuild phase, that would be a good time to start to do heavier weightlifting, strength training, focus on building a little bit of muscle as you're rebuilding your calories. So in that case, you'd want to do a 12-week rebuild, dovetail that with a 12-week strength and a strength training program that progresses for 12 weeks. And then to hit pause for 4 weeks, slow your workouts down a little bit, cut your calories, burn off a little body fat, and then start another 12-week rebuild. So that was a total aside that had nothing to do with this, but I thought it would be helpful information for you guys. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this. These are my numbers right now, so we'll just work with that. Okay, so let's just say that I wanted to go to an Italian restaurant, and this is not gonna be fair for you guys because I eat probably twice as much food as many of you here. So sorry in advance. So I have a little bit more margin for error because of the volume of calories that I eat, but this will be helpful regardless. So let's just say I wanted to go to an Italian restaurant, and typical thing that I would want to do is maybe have like a little gem salad appetizer, and I'd want to have a pasta dish of some sort. Maybe I'd want to like share like a meat dish with my girlfriend or something like that, and then maybe have a glass of wine. Okay, so let's say I had date night plans and that was what we were going to do. Cool. All right, let's start there. So we're going to go right down to, I'm not going to put anything else in. I'm going to go right down to dinner. I'm going to put my biggest meal in first. Okay, so let's just start tacking things on here. So let's just go ribeye. That's a very calorie dense food. So Outback Steakhouse ribeye, 10 ounces. The reason I would want to do that is because chain restaurants tend to put their calories up. So that's helpful. Whoa, no way. It's way more than 500. So that's not accurate. Let me see what we got going on here. You also got to be careful, right? You got to kind of use a little intuition sometimes, because as you see there. So let's see what this one says. So Longhorn. Yeah. See, this one says 10 ounces is 500. This one says 12 ounces is 9. This one's more accurate. Outbacks, I think, being a little generous on that. However, I'm probably going to share this. So let's just say I have really just maybe 6 ounces of it, right? So I'll add that. So I do a half serving of 12 ounces. You guys see how I did that there? Okay, now let's say little gem salad. Let's see if there's already something pre-populated in here. And there isn't. Okay, so let's say I want to do a little gem salad, but I couldn't find it. Fine, then what I'll do is just go spring mix. Good enough is good enough. Okay, like don't get hung up if you can't find exactly the thing you're trying to do. Done is better than perfect, right? There's always going to be a margin of error. We just have to make our best guess. And this is how we're going to find that sustainability and balance. So I'm just going to go with some spring mix, olive oil base, you know, with any dressing. So I'll just skip trying to find the actual dressing, and I'll just go straight for a tablespoon of olive oil, because that's the only thing that would have calories in that dressing anyways. Other than that, it'd probably just be herbs and stuff. So I'm just going to go here, 1 tablespoon. Cool. Okay. And then there's probably some Parmesan cheese. Parmesan, John. I don't even know how to spell it. Parmesan, but thank God for spell check. Man, what would I do without that? Boom. 1 tablespoon. Looks good to me. Okay, cool. So that would cover a little gem. What else did I say? Pasta. So let's just go with like, you know, I would say, let's see what happens if I just put in pasta. Penne, spaghetti, rigatoni. Okay, great. So let's just say penne, 1 cup already cooked. That seems reasonable. So why don't we do 2? Yeah, so you see how many calories are in that? Like that stacks up really quickly. And then, I don't know, just like maybe like some sort of like tomato-based sauce. Tomato sauce. 1 cup. We'll do 1/4 cup. 0.25. Cool. Add that. And then just for good measure, because we don't want to pay the ignorance tax and think that we're only eating that many calories when we're going to an Italian restaurant. And what do Italians love? Olive oil, right? So just for good measure, we're going to put another tablespoon of olive oil. In fact, I can just go here and just double this up to 2, because we know they're going to put at least another over everything before it's served, right? And if not, fine, all the better. Now, for some of you who are neck deep in your fat loss cycle, this might be all the calories you get for the day. The plan is to not stay there forever. Think of it as like prison. Think of dieting as prison. You get out quicker with good time served. Okay. So if you're naughty and you keep getting in fights on your yard time every weekend, and then you just keep getting longer sentences. If you have good behavior, you get out of fat loss town faster, right? So if we are strict to our diet, we get to diet for less time. If we are not strict with our diet, then we have to just stay there longer because you're delaying the process. Does that make sense? So you get out sooner with good time. Not the prettiest of analogies, but I think the point's taken. So that would be like a thing. Now, I also said I wanted to have a glass of wine, so let's just go red wine. And
That's the bottom.
And just one, I'm going to limit it to just 1 bottle because, you know, I practice restraint. I'd like to lead by example. So just a bottle. Okay, there you go. So that dinner, which is not even that extravagant here, and that's, you know, it's nice, but it's not crazy. So that right there is a lot of awareness we just created on like how quickly this can go. So for me, that's about half my calories. And so then what I do there is just reverse engineer the rest of the day from that, right? So if I go all the way down, I see here that I'm at 50 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and about 65 grams of fat. But one thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these food trackers, they'll, when you enter alcohol in, they'll show you the calories, but they won't show you the macronutrient distributions, the proteins, carbs, and fats, because a lot of people don't know what it is yet. Is it a fat because it gets metabolized in the liver? Is it a carbohydrate because it raises blood sugar? We just don't know. We're going to count it as carbohydrates. So if you do have a glass of wine and it's 125 calories, who here knows how to convert that into how many carbohydrates you want to subtract from your day in order to make room for that? Does anybody know? No? How many calories are in 1 gram of carbohydrate? Anybody? 4. 4 calories in 1 gram of carbohydrate. So in that case, then, if we have 125 calories, we just divide it by 4. 125 divided by 4 equals 31. 31 grams of carbohydrate, we're going to count as 1 glass of wine. So if your carbohydrate limit for the day is 120 and you have 2 glasses of wine, so you've made the decision as an adult to get half of your carbohydrates from wine in that instance, and then the other half from fruits and breads and pastas and whatever other carbohydrates. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Good. Okay. That was another aside, but again, I feel relevant. So, that's what I want you guys to do, is build the biggest meal of your day in first and then reverse engineer it from there. And then at that point, I probably would just, have like a smoothie, couple of eggs, keep it light for their day, and then build out the rest of it from there. So I don't bore you guys to death, I won't build the entire day, but I just wanted to show you how at least we can build a meal if we do decide to go out and not make our own food. Okay, does that help, guys? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Was anybody already doing this? Yeah, perfect. Good job. Cool. Did this help anybody get clarity on what they would do next time they're going to go out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Denise is saying, yeah, the rest of you guys are like, okay, cool. So there we go, guys. Fun stuff. What you've learned is the hierarchy of competence. You guys are somewhere here-ish, and by virtue of putting in the figurative and literal reps, we eventually ascend to unconscious competence, which you could call fluency. We're at that point, you can trust your gut. You can't trust your gut down here. Don't trust your gut. Your gut's wrong. Your decision paradigm is flawed. We have to understand that we don't know what we don't know, seek help, seek answers, and then eventually you get to a place where you can trust your gut. Okay. And then we've also learned that if we're going to go out, we put that meal in first. Don't just try to eat lightly and then save room, because look what we just learned here. That's normal stuff. That's normal stuff. And that was 1,300 calories. So if you just try to eat lightly and save room, you might think that, oh, I'll save like 500 calories for dinner, when that dinner is really 1,200 calories, right? But if you were to have gotten ahead of it and put it in there first, you would have seen that and like, oof, okay, crap. As a self-respecting adult, I can't do that unless you just want to only have one meal that day, which might not be the funnest thing, but it would work. Maybe you want to cut that down to 1 cup. Maybe you want to cut that down to, 3 or 4 ounces instead of 6, start whittling it down to an acceptable amount to still give you the satisfaction of enjoying a little dinner out, while also still honoring your commitment to your health and your fitness. Okay, guys? All righty, there we go. Fun stuff. All right, have a fun and healthy weekend, guys, and I will catch you all next week. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.